I'm going to demonstrate how I draw a cat's eye with charcoal. I've already sketched it out here. The first thing I want to do is draw in with an empty mechanical pencil some of the furs that overhang the eye on the top here. I'm just scratching into the paper just a little bit here. I'm going to use the 6B charcoal to kind of make this outline here. What the scratching does is it helps to leave little white lines on the paper so I don't have to draw around them. The cat I'm using for this demonstration is a Cougar. It has a fairly dark outside to the eye here, and the part around where the tear duct goes is very black, as is this part over here in the back corner. This is just regular drawing paper, nothing too fancy about it. When I draw, I usually use a smooth Bristol paper because it lets me get more detail in. I'm just kind of blocking in the areas right now. This is going to be the pupil. The highlight is over on the right side. I'm going to leave a space for that because it is very hard to get a white spot in there after you've already gone over it. Again, with the 6B, I'm just going to draw some radiating lines, not too dark. And leaving that space white. I'm going to use my blending stump to smooth this out. The one I'm using has quite a bit of charcoal powder on it already, so it's really getting a lot of that charcoal material in the eye area. So right now it's looking a bit dark. That's okay because I'm going to go back in and fix that. Let's see. And darken up the pupil again. And work on this area here. Now there are several highlights on the eyelid that when you put them in, it really helps to make the eye and the eyelid look a little bit wet and more alive. So I'm going to try to leave those fairly light right now. This is just a smaller blending stump. Helps me get into these smaller areas a little better. Okay, I'm just going to take my kneaded eraser and make it into kind of a wedge or a point, and just drag it along here to bring out these highlights. Now back to the iris itself. I'm just going to put a little bit more of that 6B right near the pupil, again in a radiating pattern. Blend it again. and then use the kneaded eraser to lift out highlights along the edge. And because the cornea is round, we're also going to have a very strong highlight where the just on the opposite side of this main highlight. It's where the light is passing through. So just on the bottom here, I want to make this pretty light. I'm going to blend in a little bit more down in here. This highlight's a little too big, I think, so I'm going to make it a little smaller. Darken that pupil again. I think I need a little bit more light in the outside here. Going in concentric circles this time. Again, leaving that bottom corner just a little bit lighter. And then the last thing I'm going to do is put a bit of a shadow underneath the eyelid. This is, again, the 6B. It's usually the only pencil I use for the eyes. And blend it. And just touch up anything with the kneaded eraser if I got it too dark. And then at this point I would start working on the fur around the eye. I'm using my 4B this time. Going with the direction of the fur. And you can see these white lines showing up in here. Okay, now just on the outside of the tear duct, there's an area of, where the fur isn't very noticeable and isn't very long. So I'm just going to use small circles to make this part right here. And then blend it again with my blending stump. This is again the 4B. I'm just going to take little tiny strokes down on the bottom of this eyelid. And because this is very light fur, I'm going to use light strokes. Again, it has to be going just in the right direction. And around the eye you have a lot of change in direction of fur, especially on this side over here. To give that fur that nice soft look, just go in with the stump again and just very lightly blend it again in the direction of the fur. Now the last thing I'm going to do is right around in here. I need a little bit more of the very dark color to kind of blend into the lighter fur. This is the 6B pencil again. Just a little bit. I'm also going to make it darker over here to show those eyelashes hanging over. And also down in here. I think it needs to be a little bit darker. And in that outer corner of the eye right there. Blend it again, and there we go.